My name is Paul Byrne. I'm from Seattle University School of Law, and sadly, you kind of answered most of my questions with the. But then I felt stupid sitting down, so I'll ask something else. My biggest problem is that I kind of understand this is my second career, and I understand that you're not, kind of like what you just said, you're not going to know enough about the law going into it your first few years. Ideally, I'd love to work with the United States Tennis Association or some other representative tennis player. That's like my big niche. What advice would you have in terms of kind of focusing in on something that's so specific? Obviously, the NFL would be a lot easier because there are more sports teams, but for something like tennis, what would you recommend?
I mean, I would find out who their outside counsel is. I mean, I think most people's advice kind of relates back to how they got to where they are. So for whatever it's worth, I mean, that's how I got my job. And certainly when you're outside counsel and you're working with a client every day, it just makes it a lot easier when they're looking to take someone in-house. And as I said, that's how I got my job. I think if I was at another firm there, and probably even coming from where I did, there were a lot of people who went to better law schools, who took more labor law classes, who might have done more to prepare in advance. But ultimately, it was my experience and my contacts that made it happen. So that's one suggestion. But I think probably we don't really have time to get into it, and I won't bore you, but I've had like 1,000 internships in my life. I've basically been interning since I was 17 in sports. And making contacts and networking is the best way to get a job in entertainment and sports, because it's just a very small world, and that's who people hire. I mean, I'm always open to doing informational interviews with law students, just because that's how I got all of my jobs. And even if it's not for the purpose of interviewing for a job, just going out and meeting people. And for me personally, I had an informational interview with a law student a few months ago. She was really impressive. She stayed in touch with me. She sent me interesting articles on the NHL. I mean, she just really showed an interest. And then the general counsel of the NHL said to me, we should hire an intern. And I called her because I was really impressed with her, and she made an effort without having a specific reason to be making an effort. In other words, there was no job opening at the time. But she went out of her way to make the contact.
As a follow-up to that, what's the line between persistent contact and annoying contact?
I've got the answer for you on that. When you show up, when you finally get that interview, don't sleep with your racket the night before and show up with the grid marks on your cheek. You don't want to come off too crazy. But on the other hand, a great way to leave another type of mark, so to speak, is to write an article on tennis and law, or some new issue that has come up, because they're reading those things, and
put it in the Entertainment Sports Report.
Put it in the Entertainment Sports Report, or any other related sports law publication. It will be read. You'll probably get a call. I know I've been called every time I've written something, either from an irate person or from from someone who said, I'd like to discuss it with you, this particular issue. And I think it really helps. Travis, do you have
I think that kind of starts a discourse that can create a relationship which will work you into that industry. I mean, wanted to kind of follow up what Jessica was saying earlier. You have an opportunity now to intermingle with the best lawyers in the sports and entertainment field. Take advantage of that.
I've already
pick
highlighted
their
the
brain.
people from USTA.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Travis, for saying that. Because I was just going to do some shameless self-promotion for the ABA to say that he's exactly right. You're in the place now. You're not lawyers yet, but when you are, this is the place to be. Get active with organizations. That's how you make your contacts. It's how you get relationships. I mean, Jessica actually has a great idea about contacting the right people and getting to know the right people. It's the right idea. And add to that, go to places where they are, where you can have the opportunity to get somebody's attention. And by the way, annoying contact is contact for no reason over and over and over again. Annoying contact is asking for lunches over and over and over again. I don't have time to have lunch with my colleagues, let alone with the law students who want to have lunch.
Well, I'll always buy one lunch. There's no question that a person comes and wants to speak with me, I'll take them to lunch. There's, that's not a problem.
I get letters.
Two lunches,
I
three
get
lunches.
I get emails and phone calls almost every day from law students looking for places to go. So I can't do it, but I will talk to them. I will tell them, give me a call. We'll sit and talk. I'll give them the time over the phone. But definitely, make the context. There's one now new attorney here that I met, I want to say, in her first year of law school. She started coming to ABA, and she emailed me telling me she was going to be coming here, and I said, and I laughed, 'cause she said, I don't know if you remember me, but I've had drinks with her. I mean, I know who she is. And I wrote back and I said, actually, of course I remember you, because I actually mentioned to my father, who is my partner, that she's like one of the only first years out of law school that I would ever hire, because she was so bright and so together. So make that impression. Get relationships. Relationships are going to make your whole career.
Great. Thank you.
Great. You're welcome.